Welcome to the Launch to Six podcast, a podcast about how you can launch your online business from 0 to 6 figures in 24 months or less, regardless of your prior experience. Now, here's your hosts.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Launch to Six podcast. I'm actually with my partners, founders and friends who are actually in person today.
What's
hey guys.
up? Hey guys.
We're having a little giggle here. So we have been hustling the last couple of days. I've actually gone up to Ipswich in England to work some projects, and what we want to cover on this podcast is the theme of marketing, but really not just that, the mindset behind it, the focus, the consistency, and what it takes to actually get things done and launch your business off the ground. So guys, let's start with yourself, Thomas. It's been a pretty crazy weekend, hasn't it? We've got a lot done, and what do you think stops people first from getting things done?
I think a lot of people aren't that clear where they want to go, and so it's kind of like, oh, it would be nice to have $5,000 a month. Oh, it would be nice to have $10,000 a month, and they sort of, they sort of see this abstract goal. They don't link it to anything. That's where a lot of people. That's where I, felt when I was first getting started. I kind of got 6 months in. I wasn't making $10,000 a month, and I was like, oh shit, what's this for? So the moment you start to link it to lifestyle goals, you go, right, okay, so $500 a month, that's my mortgage or whatever that is. X hundred a month, that's this, that's that, and you start to then actually be able to chunk together your lifestyle.
Yes.
And you don't, a lot of people don't put an actual time deadline on that. So it's sort of like they hit 3 months, they haven't hit that abstract goal, and nothing's happened, so they give up. It's so common.
Well, it's like goals without deadlines are dreams.
Mm-hmm.
I heard someone say that, and I agree, because if you don't have a deadline on something, or you don't have accountability and the support, you can't get. And we were just saying now, when we're physically in person, the amount we get done is crazy, right?
Yeah, a lot of people hark on about virtual working. Hell, we love virtual working, it works. But do you know what? When we're together, we're the Three Musketeers, it just works. We bounce off each other ideas.
I think it's the accountability, because one's working, and it's that two partners, or three partners, or whoever you're in business with, you battle each other into perfection, rather than one person just doing what they do and then they can slack off. And I think the main thing is, if you've got accountability, that's why mentorship is so important. Obviously it's a blatant plug, but we invest in mentorships in programs.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because when you don't want to do something, you just go do it, and then you're like, wow, it feels so good I did that. And when it comes to marketing, a lot of people, there's a great marketer out there, he said, people will spend tens of thousands in education, but they won't spend $100 to launch their Facebook ad campaign. Because when you do that, things become real. Or when you build your website, or when you make your first sales call, first webinar, whatever you're doing when you're growing your business or launching it, it's just, you have to be in an environment where someone holds you accountable to that. Otherwise it's just, I'll do that next week. It
gets put off. Other distractions come forward, and we're sat here. The three of us are in. We're at Casper's. We're in the office together.
We've got the doggies.
We've got our mascots.
We do have the dogs.
Yeah, and it's literally like, we've got a massive whiteboard on the wall, and it's like idea, bang, design, build.
Talk about the whiteboard. So in our minds, what do we do this week, and then someone can go, wow, I'm gonna go do that to get more done.
Yeah, well, as we started it started with the goals, and it's breaking it down. You reverse engineer. You go, right, okay, we want X per month. This is why we want it. Okay, so we go forwards from there, and we go backwards. Go, right, okay, so how much is our product worth, and is that value to our audience? Right, how many audience members do we need to reach before they come and convert through? Now, that is a whole art and a topic in its own right.
Framework, right?
It's that reverse engineering of that framework. And then from there we go, right, okay, what do we need to build? What's step one, step two? And this is a completely other conversation around building partners and things, but having people of opposing skill sets in the room. We've got Tom here who's copy, marketing, boom, he sat behind me looking at my screen. I'm busily building up the design, and I'm throwing that over to Casper, and Casper's like, I can build it. Tom's going, oh, can we have this feature from this site? Casper goes, yes, I can build this. And it's just this constant conversation.
Well, maybe Casper, you share about the partnerships, because obviously you work on the code and the websites and stuff.
Yes, that's correct.
But how does it feel working with an operations person design, which is Thomas, and also like a marketer, like myself, how does it sort of help you just push things forward as well?
Well, it gives me quite a good idea of the bigger picture, because very often I find myself working with other technical types and people with a similar background to myself, and it's usually very much focused solely on the technology, and the use case and application of that technology is completely ignored.
Yes.
And people just want to focus on this framework.
Well, you talked about that. Maybe tell the story about, obviously we kept them anonymous, but about your friend that was so good at tech and wanted to build things but could never get it off the ground because they didn't understand marketing.
Yes,
or
that's correct.
They didn't have the education or maybe the partner to execute that.
Yes, well, this was a friend of mine from university, and he was a fantastic programmer, probably one of the best coders I've ever known. I've never seen anyone code that quickly, that competently. I mean, this guy was just able to deliver, and he was just, I would have thought he was an amazing asset to have for any company, but he was a very cocky individual. I mean, due to his very, very high competence and skill set, so he was able to get away with it. So he essentially was quite unmanageable. So he was kind of forced into entrepreneurship, where he was working for himself. And I remember thinking, just admiring this guy, thinking he's going to smash it. I mean, with that high level of competence and those skills and that ability to deliver, I mean, he's just going to be rolling in the money really quickly.
Yeah.
But what I discovered was I saw he was too bogged down with the nitty gritty technological details, with these minor optimizations. I'm talking shaving milliseconds off load times. I mean, don't get me wrong, all of these things are important once you have a developed product
once you've launched your business,
using.
right?
Once you're getting those 1,000 users, those million users, however many users, then those millisecond optimizations actually do make all of the difference. But early days, you just want to launch. You want to get that product quickly delivered.
I love it.
So he overthought the small details.
Yes, he was a perfectionist. He would want the code to be absolutely.
And that's a lot
flawless.
of people. That's what I just want to tie into what you said, because that's a lot of people that stops people from moving forward. They think they need all their ducks in a row. And we said, done is the new perfect. Shoot first, aim later. Get started.
That's
what we've done, right?
No,
absolutely. We change things, and do we overthink things?
No, just move forwards. I mean, there's a really great TED talk by a guy named Guy Kawasaki, I think his name is, one of the Apple engineers, but check it out. But he talks about shipping crappy. And it's the idea that you go out fast. I mean, a great company to think of. I mean, guys, if you've heard of GoPro, if you haven't, then you're under a rock. But basically, it's a sports camera company. So they do small cameras, waterproof cases, You've probably heard of them. But they shipped crappy. GoPro 1 was a horrible product. It was just really bad. Battery life was nowhere near anything on the market, all the rest of it. But the key thing that they did really well was they got out there, launched a product, marketed it really fast and really hard. What that meant was it then propelled them onto their second product. GoPro 2 was a far better product, but the biggest thing, whenever anyone talks about an action camera, it's a GoPro.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. Yeah. It's a GoPro.
They started.
And they took that.
And guess what? There's many people that are feeling sorry for themselves in a bar saying, I had that idea.
Yes.
But you don't execute because you don't do it. The key thing is just to have a plan, do it. But the thing about partnerships is that you leverage your skill sets, but I think you don't just leverage the skill sets, you leverage the accountability. The accountability to move forward, because you see that person do really well, so you want to do your best. And that's what I think is powerful about getting in a program, guys. Yes, this is a plug. You should join our program because we produce life-changing results, and we want you to have a transformation, not just teach you, but actually have a transformation. So if you are interested, you can see a link where you can actually apply to have a chat with us. We do have different mentorships. Maybe let's just talk a little bit about, that education in general, because there's some people that go, I'm lonely, I don't have partnerships like you guys, but what can education do? Right? It might be our program or someone else's program, but what do you think mentorship can do for someone? I think a family.
It's huge. Honestly, it's massive. It's such a cheesy phrase, but your network is your net worth. And I mean, just going back to me, when I started a business, I didn't have a clue. My first company, I came out of a design degree. It failed miserably because I just thought I start a website and it happens. When it really started for me, when I started to network, when I got a mentor, when I got a business coach. My first business coach, she began to connect with me with people. She sat down and goes, what are your goals? Oh, I want to do this. Okay, right, framework, And then she started to connect me to people.
Yes.
And that's where great coaches and people bring you together in a network. And that's what we like to promote. Bring
Yes.
together a family of people who are like-minded and have that similar sort of set of goals.
Well, I think, it's almost like community is important for partnerships and inspiration. When you've had a bad day or you're still working, you want to leave that job. And we say our clients, they're allergic to 9-to-5 jobs. And obviously now the pandemic has made people really open, because everyone says, your family and your friends, you say you're listening to this podcast and they say, but that's a scam, that's this. Well, obviously it's not, because online education is a multi-billion dollar industry. Wherever you're listening to this, it's huge and it's only growing. But the thing is most people go, that doesn't work. But they're basing it off one of their ideas of their world, that you have to get a job to do that. However, you're listening to this because that is not working anymore. That lane that once worked for you, you know there's better, or you lost your job. 90%, I think how much people, there's like 200 million, 300 million people worldwide unemployed. That's crazy.
I mean, even just in a more niche down sector, the engineering sector in the UK, the market for new jobs has dropped by 75%. That's crazy. Yes. And do you know what's a really interesting phrase about engineers? And this is no stab on engineers, like my father's an engineer. It's because an engineer is a direct problem solver. They don't bring in business directly. And this is, again, one of those key skill sets, is the ability to market, bring in clients, close them, then solve their problem.
Yes.
And that's a really key thing. And you can see that. That's been reflected in the market. The market wants people who act on performance and bring in leads, make business happen.
Yes.
And solve those problems.
A lot of people, though, it's their mindset, it's their limiting beliefs that say, and we were talking about that Casper yesterday, about different, family members or people we know in general, and we talk about this a lot, Thomas, as well, is people go, I would love to do that. However, there's too much people doing that. Or who am I to charge for this service? Or I'm not good enough to do that. Guys, if you have a skill, or you can partner with someone that's got a skill, you have a direct obligation to get that in the hands of people and be passionate about it. There's always going to be critics. Opinions are just an opinion. So there's going to be a lot of family members that say, why are you listening to this? Why don't you keep your job? Well, that doesn't work, guys. 300 million people are unemployed. It doesn't work anymore. However, having a side hustle or pursuing your passion, imagine this. Let's just say you fail for 24 months. Let's just say it takes you 3 years and you succeeded, and now you're sitting on a beach in Barcelona with a pina colada, and you're making, let's just say, only $5,000 a month, 60 grand a year. But you got your laptop, internet connection, you've got no boss. How would that feel? And I remember mentors, we got the dogs agreeing here. I remember a mentor telling me that, and in my mind I went, wow, that would be amazing. And guess what? I was skeptical, but at the end of it, I told my friend one time, we were at a nightclub and we were having fun and just, we were just chatting about life and putting things into perspective. I said, everything them online mentors and gurus said, it was all true. They weren't lying. It was all true, and we got the pug agreeing. I call them mini pigs. But guys, the mindset's a big thing, isn't it? All of us said mindset is the biggest thing.
100%.
To round it off, why is mindset in your... honestly, just being honest and sharing from the heart, why do you think people's mindset is the most important thing for them to succeed in general? Will you, Thomas, maybe start?
I think it's that ultimate belief element. And I remember saying it to Tom, for me, quite a few years ago, my mindset was, I was quite uncertain, because it was sort of like, I want this, but it's just not real, it's not tangible. And it took me a long time in business to really get cash flowing. I'll be honest. I was it took me a while. But, now when I'm approaching ventures, I'm looking at things, it's not a matter of kind of, this might work, I'm going to try this. I know it's going to work. It's just a matter of figuring it out, failing fast.
Yeah, it's believing in it.
It's believing.
So
and
cool.
I mean, people around you might not understand whether or not they're wealthy or they're coming from a slightly more humble background. It's all about having those right people around you who are going to support and push you. And I mean, I told you about this. I had a friend of mine who at quite a young age, he inherited a lot of money. and he bought a very nice car in his 20s.
Ferrari,
And
right?
it was it was a ridiculously nice car. I remember saying to him, and I was just really getting my business going at the time. I said, I'm going to have one of those cars by the time I'm 30. And just for reference, guys, I'm not quite 30 yet, so I've got a bit of time left. And so
Hold him accountable.
hold me accountable. I will be driving Ferrari by 30. But it was really interesting because he turned around to me and he goes, "No, you won't drive Ferrari." I said, "Why did you say that?" I was quite upset at the time.
Wow.
I was really upset. It was quite a stab. I thought, "Why? You don't believe in me?" And he turned around to me. He goes, "The people who drive Ferraris at this age have either got very wealthy parents or dead parents." And it's a really dark point, and I got upset about it. I thought, well, but then I actually reflected on it and went, actually, do you know what? That's his belief. That's what he saw. That's what he understood.
Yeah.
And yet I look around and I go, the people who I hang about with, my friends in business, and this is again coming back to why mentorship, having a network of people around you, changes that massive
Because they got a
perspective.
different view. His view of the world was based on his experience.
Absolutely. It was get a job.
And that's not wrong. That's his life. And,
not wrong
people
at
can
all.
do that.
Not wrong at all.
But you want to be around the people that are like you and want stuff like you. Otherwise, it's like
absolutely. And it's that perspective to set those goals and have
That's
those people
amazing,
around you. And it's again, whereas quite a few years back, I went from a place of it was nice, but almost in the back of my head, it was like, I don't know if it's going to happen to me. To actually, I'm literally just checking off. I'm just chipping away at the stone. I'm going through these options. I'm just click.
And I think
it's happening.
mentorship, whoever it's from, if it's from us or whoever you resonate with, they give you the map, but then it just accelerates the process because it's not that hard, guys, to do. The hard part is you believe it's going to be difficult based on your situation now, not where you'll be in 36 months' time. Because I had that. I was working at GNC, making X amount. I wrote down my goals, and then 3 years later, I'm like, I've been to all them countries I said I was going to go. But it wasn't that hard, but it wasn't easy either. I just had to believe and do it. So guys, if you are interested in taking your life to the next level in general, I know most of you guys, probably 95% of you don't have a business. If you do have a business, then we can help you really scale it quickly. And most business owners aren't having fun. And see the link, you can apply, or check us out, go to launchtosix.com. You can check us out, check our beliefs. If you're someone that wants to have a job as well, and you're a talented person, you can check out our employment perks and stuff like that. But yeah, I'm excited, guys. It's been an awesome episode, an awesome weekend in general, and I just think if people have good people around them, get our mentorship. That's the plug. Just be around people that are like-minded is really important. Any last words, guys?
Yeah, you got to act, man. You got to act. I mean, we all
Yeah,
know.
I love it.
It's like if you ask anyone, like, how do you get fit? Like, everyone will tell you.
You
Got to
just eat
start
donuts,
exercising.
don't
You got to start eating right. But will people actually do it? The vast majority of people won't. So most people know the steps they need to take to get physically fit, but they don't do it. And it's exactly the same thing with business. I mean, if you ask people, how do you get rich? I mean, it's a simple formula, but it's all so dependent on you actually taking that first step.
What Thomas just said there is the thing is, but it's hard work. But when you're in the gym, it feels so good.
Yes.
The hard part is actually
getting
there and getting past the limiting beliefs. Everything's getting past the limiting belief, guys. And when we want to do that, get to up to a certain amount of money online, but I want to go to a higher level. Well, that means you have to change your beliefs. You got to change it up. So appreciate it, guys. Any last tips or takeaways for them, or any resources you think will be valuable apart from launchtosix.com? We've had a few beers as well, guys. Give us a break. Goodbye, everyone. See you in the next episode.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, guys.